This podcast provides a platform for our guests to share their experiences and inspire our listeners to be brave and bold in pursuit of their dreams. As you listen, we invite you to explore how these concepts apply to your own story. You know what to do. Be great and be grateful. We're mic'd up with Mike DiCioccio. Today we have Reid in studio, and I'm excited for this episode. It's been something that once I came up with the idea, hey, I'm going to do this podcast, the first person that popped in my mind that is given Buffalo love, okay, that can tell a story that is truly inspirational for all the right reasons, was Reid. And so we've done this a couple times. Shout out to the Avanti Entrepreneur Network. You were a guest speaker for one of our events. I still have people talking about that when I'm serious.
That's when my beard was long.
Yeah.
Like, who was that homeless guy that
it
you
was
had
January. The flakes were flying, and he comes in, and we're like, they almost didn't let you in the building, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, so I appreciate you doing that. And then we did a mic'd up kind of video before this whole podcast idea was out, and that's where I kind of got to know you on a little bit further level. But before I read your bio, I'll share too that I want to thank you. Going back to the early days when Bill's Mafia started, before 26Shirts existed, I had reached out to you on Twitter. I said, hey man, I was thinking of the idea of storytelling then, of like getting the content, which we didn't really call it content back then. It just was
stuff,
a post, a story. We didn't know. So
that was like 8 years ago. And look at you now.
It was longer than 8 years.
It was 2011 is when all the Bill's Mafia stuff took off.
11?
But yeah, look at you now.
8 years. Yeah, we're doing it. Let that be a sidebar story of if you have something, a passion in your heart, something you want to do. It's an idea. You're driving in your car right now listening to this, and you're like, man, I've been wanting to do this thing. Look, Del had an idea. A couple friends came up with the concept. I'm going to let you tell this story officially about Bill's Mafia. It turns into a phenomenal movement. I had the idea of doing a show for a while, didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, and people, close friends of mine, encouraged me, like, why don't you do what you love to do? And literally just do it. And
stop talking about it and go do it.
As an entrepreneur, I started a company a couple years ago, Social Chameleon, and I did that. Jumped out of the plane, figured out how to build a parachute on the way down. So I'm like, you know what? I don't necessarily have the time. I will make the time to do something I love. And I'll tell you, over the last couple, I've only recorded now 3 episodes, and I've never felt better as far as like being on purpose. And I don't want to take the floor from you. I just wanted to get that out.
It's your show, dude.
So we're here. We're here because of kind of a seed that was planted back in 2011, as you mentioned. I'm going to read your bio, and then actually I'd like to kind of start off with a shout out to Bill's Mafia. I'm sure many of them are tuning in for you because they know your story and they want to get more. Everybody wants more Reid, so let's get to it. Del became a Bills fan shortly after coming into this world, having been raised in a home that actually had a framed picture of O.J. Simpson on the wall in their living room until it came down in '94. Rightfully so. Del has always had a passion for bringing people together to celebrate things they share in common. As a result, he quite accidentally ended up co-founding the Bills Mafia movement among Bills fans and social media, which to this point is the coolest thing that has ever happened to him aside from his relationship with God, his wife, and his 2 awesome kids. He also is the founder of 26Shirts, a website that sells limited edition tees to benefit local charities and families in need. To date, 26Shirts has managed to raise and donate over $665,000 thanks to everyone who has believed in its mission and loved its products. I just double-checked your website to make sure, because the last time we got together it was like 500. So just in a short period of time now, you're at $665,000 raised. I just want to say thank you for being here. What a phenomenal thing that you and your team at 26Shirts is doing. So thank you for all that. I'm sure.
Well, yeah, and thank you for that. Thank you. But I always phrase it like this: we get a lot of credit for other people's generosity.
Sure.
We could put all the T-shirt designs out there in the world, but if people don't buy them, if people don't believe in our mission, then nothing's happening. We're just putting pixels on a website,
Right.
So it really is more a testament to just that Western New York DNA, the city of good neighbors, and how people, they want to rep their teams, they want to rep their city that they love, and they want to help their fellow man. And that's really kind of like our special sauce.
It's the heart of the city that can understand what you're doing and help it take off. And that's incredible that you have the mindset. Every time I've talked to you, you've been humble. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have you. I like to showcase you, Del, because you're doing it for the right reasons. You are humble. I don't think it's not that you're want to puff your chest out, but more people should hear your story because it can inspire them to do either help you in your initiatives or do their own thing. And that is truly what we're here to do. So let's start off again. A shout out to Bill's Mafia. We appreciate you guys tuning in to support Del and my show. And I'd like to start by having him tell the story of how Bill's Mafia actually began. And from talking with many Bills fans personally, it's surprising to me how many do not know the actual origin. So let's have a proper education from one of the OGs of Bill's Mafia. So how did this thing kick off?
All right, so and I'm going to give you a somewhat abbreviated version, so I'll hit the high points because I can really drone on about this sometimes.
Sure.
In 2010, Stevie Johnson dropped the pass against the Pittsburgh Steelers in overtime, and the week prior, he had just scored 3 touchdowns in a comeback win against the Bengals. Mm-hmm. So, but that night, when he dropped that touchdown pass, and don't forget...
That was I'm So Serious jersey lift?
That was against the Bengals when he pulled that up.
Right, the 3 touchdown performance.
Yep, correct. I was at that game.
That was against T.O. and Chad Johnson.
Correct.
Ocho Cinco, I remember that.
That was the
Fitzy
first...
balled?
Yeah, that was the first away game I ever went to. So,
okay, cool.
But anyway, so that next week he drops the touchdown pass.
How about that for paralyzing week to week?
Right, yeah, totally. It was crazy.
Polarizing
for sure. So what made it so what crazy was that season the Bills started 0-8. You know what I mean? Yeah, they started 0-8 in 2010, and then they went 4-4, which probably means they missed out on Cam Newton because of that. But regardless,
they got Marcel Darius.
Darius, right? So, but anyways, so that night. After dropping the pass, Stevie goes on Twitter and does that famous God tweet. Right. I wonder how many people listening even remember that now. I mean, that was like 8 years ago. But so that night, Bills fans are kind of rallying around him and just trying to encourage him and everything. Buffalo being that small town college feel and everything. Yeah, totally. So then the next day, Adam Schefter retweets the tweet, which Twitter behaved a little differently back then. Now, if somebody that you follow retweets something that somebody else that you follow has already retweeted, you won't keep seeing it over and over again in your timeline. It gives it it caches it for like a day or something. Mm-hmm. So,
but a day on Twitter, even 10 years ago, is like a year of breaking news.
That's how I always describe it.
Like so if an event occurs and someone 12 hours later retweets it, it's like a joke. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what spawned this whole...
Yeah, and the irony is that it was Adam Schefter who is always on top of every piece of news.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we weren't, trolling him or being nasty, but we started teasing a little bit doing Schefter breaking news and, talking about old news items because, back then it was very obvious when somebody retweeted something that was old, right? But...
Yeah.
So anyways...
You guys are having kind of good fun with it, trying to make light of the situation the day before. And then how does he act? How does he react to you guys doing that? So
he ends up blocking 4 or 5 of us, and I was like, "Whoa, wow!" To my knowledge, that was the first time I ever got blocked from someone on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Somebody so significant too, So anyway, so fast forward 6 months or whatever it was, the draft is coming up in 2011, and Follow Friday used to be a thing on Twitter, and so I recommended the few of us that got blocked and said follow the Bills Mafia, and
you actually came up with that term.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and it was just a joke, that it was just like a throwaway line, but
yeah,
it got some laughs, and over the next few months, Breon and Leslie and a few other of my co-founders of the Bills Mafia movement, we would throw that term around, but not every day. We weren't trying to market or build anything. It was a joke between us.
It was a running inside joke that I'm gonna say a name that true Bills fans will understand. Mufasa's hair.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You know what that means.
Yeah. That was.
But that's when when Nick Barnett retweeted it, was it? That's when it blew up?
Yeah, Mufasa's hair, which was a parody account of Nick Barnett. I don't think he even...
Oh, it was a parody?
I don't think it was him. For a long time, I thought it was him.
Oh, I thought it was him.
But
I stand corrected.
Yeah, well, I believe it was another fan, a Packers fan.
So for people who are maybe tuning in for the business and inspirational side of Del Reid. If you're not like a true crazy wild Bills fan like the two of us here, linebacker number 50 of the Bills, Nick Barnett, it was either a parody account or a real account, retweets it, and then from there it starts to generate some buzz.
Right. So Nick and this Twitter account had a lot of interactions with each other up, before that. So
this is 2011.
2011, and so Nick very quickly brought that whole term to his feed, Bills Mafia, and at that point, once the players started using it, it blew up. And it just became something where suddenly, the few of us that had started it found ourselves with some weird notoriety on Twitter because of it, and we thought, should we do anything with this? I remember Breon sending me a DM, it was the first week of August or whatever, 2011. It's like, should we do anything? I'm like, I don't know, let's sell some shirts. That's always my go-to. I'm a shirt guy.
Well, that was the first time you guys produced a shirt to sell it, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not for 26 shirts, which we'll get into.
But just the idea of you and your friends had something with some attention, and the first thought you had was, let's make a T-shirt.
Yeah. And then a few weeks later, people started saying, is this just about money? And we were using Cafe Press. First of all, you don't make much money using Cafe Press. But
$4 overhead or
whatever it was. I don't even remember. It was so long ago. But
margin.
Yeah. But so we, we're all gainfully employed. We're not looking to profit from our fellow fans. We're just, this is kind of cool. Let's roll with it. So we decided to donate the money, any profits we got. And that's kind of where the whole charitable end of Bills Mafia began. And then in years following, we ended up doing tailgates as fundraisers and just different efforts. And I think that kind of helped.
I remember the early shirts. It was the Twitter bird. Was it the bird or was it?
It was a Twitter bird with
on a Bills helmet. On a Bills helmet.
That was the first shirt. Yeah, it was a white helmet with a Twitter bird on it and a red slash.
Yeah, I love it. Isn't it crazy to think how far you've come now?
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Later. It's crazy. Life is weird.
Not even 9 years, like you said. So, want to move through this for our next question. So, words, first of all, cannot describe how amazing what 26 Shirts is doing and how you're helping families in need, raising over $665,000. Tell our listeners who may not know the 26 Shirts movement. You started talking about the transition from Bills Mafia to that. What it is and where did the idea come from? And I just want to add one quick thing. The reason I really wanted to clear up the air on Bills Mafia, it's been 9 crazy years. Crazy is a good way to describe it. I love the tenacity of Bills fans and what we bring to a game on Sunday. Some of the things that happen in the parking lots, people getting injured, intentionally hurting themselves and stuff, I don't condone that. It's it's embarrassing on a national level, but I don't want to come, I love Bills fans. But I think a lot of people now nationally are using the Bills Mafia hashtag with that behavior, and it actually started from this phenomenal, charitable cause. And I want to make sure we know Bills Mafia for what it's actually meant to be known for. And that's another reason I wanted to start with that question.
Yeah, one quick point I want to make to all
that was a big, long-winded question.
No, but Bills Mafia has definitely grown up and left the house. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to Leslie or Bree or anybody else that was part of our core original group. It belongs to all Bills fans. And
awesome.
While you won't find me ever jumping through a table and really don't understand the excitement level that comes from that for people, but to each their own. So obviously it bothers me when I see certain things people can, like you said, I don't think it's intentionally hurting themselves, but they're not thinking about what they're doing. But
yeah, I saw a guy head first into the ground off of a staircase. And
in Nashville.
I didn't intend on seeing that content. I'm scrolling through my feed and I see that after the Tennessee Titans win, and it's I just sat there I felt so bad.
And I don't think that's a statement as much as on Bills fans as it is just about people wanting likes and retweets and shares on social media.
It's the extreme factor of people are going to tune in because it's crazier than the last one, but it's out of hand. But
yeah. So, but anyways, like I said, Bills Mafia belongs to everybody. It's expressed in a bunch of different ways. I'm not super crazy, personally about how a lot of that behavior goes down, but I'm not also going to tell people who are Bills fans how they should live their lives.
Yeah, I love the fact that we are. That's what makes the 12th man in Buffalo so special. Is that crazy element of we're allowed, like, it's third down every down. You know what I mean? So what made you take the leap into entrepreneurship and have the thoughtfulness to tie it together to the greater good? Was that intention from the beginning? You started to mention that. And did you later have a light bulb moment where, so you talk about the first shirt, Twitter bird on the helmet. It was 100% charity at that time. What was the light bulb moment when you're like, this could be bigger than this?
Well,
maybe it wasn't one thought. Maybe
it's hard to say like there was like this specific thing. And so in 2013, at that point, Bill's Mafia is 2 years old. We've got a Twitter account that's got a bunch of followers. People are always asking for, retweets and share this for me and share that for me. And one person reached out to me in like late October, early November 2013, and said, I'm doing an online raffle. Can you please, retweet this? And so I looked into it, and he's raffling off an autographed Mario Williams jersey that he won from Summer Sanders, who's an Olympian, gold medalist swimmer who's a Bills fan.
Is she from Buffalo?
She's not. Her husband is.
Cool.
And so, so I asked, the guy's name is Scott. I'm like, Scott, like, this is a pretty cool little piece of memorabilia you have your hands on. Because I'm always a big fan of things that have stories to them. I don't want just like and teach their own, but I'm not like, if somebody signs like, I got an 8x10 signed by so-and-so. It's like, if I wasn't there for part of it, if I didn't have an interaction with the guy, like that has no interest to me.
Yeah.
But to each their own, like, but, so I'm asking, like, why would you want to get rid of this? This is a really cool story. And he goes on to tell me about his daughter who has retinoblastoma, 2 years old at the time. And she had an eye removed because of the cancer. That's basically eye cancer, retinoblastoma.
Yeah.
And she was having chemotherapy applied directly to the other eye, and it's like, it was a heartbreaking story. And I was like, yeah, dude, no problem. I'll retweet your tweet, And not only that, next time we do a special shirt with Bill's Mafia, I'll give you the proceeds from it. And so then,
you kind of still were thinking this might be a one-time thing to help this
totally.
family that needs it. And
we were just coming off the whole Legend of Kiko Alonso thing. It was a stupid joke I made that, again, like, took off or whatever. But so we did a shirt based on that, and people were, buying it and everything. And
that definitely was fun while it lasted.
It was while it lasted. But so then, that kind of opened my eyes to, like, okay, there's something here. Like, people want, like, kitschy T-shirts about their teams and their city and stuff. And so, Monday nights, I used to go to this, like, this men's accountability Bible study group every Monday night, and just talking back and forth with some friends, and I was like talking about this little girl and this idea I had next time I'd sell a shirt, and like really in that moment, that's where the idea came from, was to I could probably do this constantly, and help people. So the idea came for this like 1 year. I always call it a community service project. I was going to sell 26 different designs. 52 divided by 2 is 26. And that was going to be it. Like, just, we're going to do 26 shirts and that'll be it. Like, that's so many shirts. How are we ever going to, like, do more than that anyways?
Right. It's a cool name. It's catchy. It's memorable. And it has meaning. Every 2 weeks, new design, new cause.
Yeah, it's funny. It's one of those things that when I named it, it made perfect sense. And I've spent the past, 6 years explaining to people what the 26 means. But, and so it just kind of, like, it kind of went from there. I put a blog post out, actually on the Bills Mafia website, because it was originally going to be part of that whole endeavor. Eventually, it became its own thing very quickly there. But I teamed up with a local shirt company who saw my blog post. They agreed to produce the shirts, which was awesome because now I'm not using Cafe Press or Teespring.
Sure.
I'm actually like, I can work with them in terms of what the costs are and how much we can donate and all of that. And so we did that, a few weeks in, I realized pretty quickly this could be something that like maybe is more than just 26 designs and we're done.
The 1 year commitment, yeah.
And so we, early on decided, all right, we're going to continue to do this until it doesn't work, and then fast forward a couple years to 2015, I was a web development technology administrator at Roswell Park. My web development team got merged into the marketing. I was in IT, got merged into the marketing team. And funny enough, you don't need two managers. Who'd have thought, right? So I ended up getting laid off in August.
So you're doing, first of all, not to cut you right there, I want the end of the story is the part that's really phenomenal. But what's maybe not talked about in your story is the fact you were doing all of this in addition to a full-time job, having two daughters, a wife at home, right? Working at Roswell full time,
Yep.
doing Bill's Mafia. Now 26 Shirts is starting to take form. All in addition to 40 plus hours.
Yeah, my hair wasn't as gray before Bill's Mafia started as it is now.
I don't know if people realize that you did that, and not knowing that this position was going to be taken away from you.
Yeah,
And
no,
then
for
all
sure.
of a sudden, tell us how that creates the opportunity.
Yeah, I always joked up to that point. It's amazing how much you can do if you decide you don't want to sleep, which is obviously a terrible idea. But that's how I was doing it. I'd work till 5 o'clock every day, spend time with the family, and then from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock is when I got almost everything done. And then I'd be waking up at 6, 7 a.m. the next day and doing it all over again, and lunch breaks, squeezing stuff in here and there when I'm able to.
Right.
But anyway, so I got laid off at Roswell in August 2015. I had the opportunity to post for another position there, another very similar type of thing. But at that point, my heart was being pulled so strongly. I knew I was supposed to be doing this shirts thing now. That was just every fiber of my being. I knew that. And so because I have an awesome wife who supports me.
Shout out to Chrissy.
Shout out to Chrissy, who also keeps me honest. You know what I mean? She's all right, we can do this. Let's set up some parameters. Let's make sure it's feasible. She's awesome. She thinks about things before she does it. Not me so much, but and so we said, all right,
team.
Yeah, we are a good team. She's the better half for sure. That is not a common just phrasing or whatever, but she is the better half. But so came up, with this plan for we'll give it a year, all right. And so if in say August 2016, because part of my severance with Roswell was I still had all my health benefits for a year. So all right, let's get through I got a year to play,
Sure.
In that respect. But if after a year or sooner, because you know how business works, it becomes obvious that this isn't the path,
right?
Then I'll go back to the grind and say I gave it my best shot. At that time I was
fail forward. We talked about that on our last episode.
Yeah. So at that time I was 39, just about to turn 40. All those different things going through your head. That everybody struggles with, and I'm about to turn 40. What am I doing with my life? Am I doing what I want to do? Don't get me wrong, the money was great at Roswell. They take really good care of their employees, and the benefits were great. But I just knew that's. I'll tweet it every month or so, just reminders to people. You get one life to live. I think Bill Murray said it. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is it. It's all live ammunition.
Yeah.
And so, while that's incredibly scary, it's also thrilling, for me. So, I'm totally off on a path now. But
no, that's
so anyway,
okay.
so
this is part of you telling why you're doing what you're doing too, which is cool.
For that first year, we said we'd give it a year. 6 months into that year, I ended up having to hire somebody because the work was there was too much. It was something, so it became very obvious. This is gonna work. It's gonna happen. So brought on Josh as our creative director, who's awesome, and we've kind of just fast forward now here because everything moves so fast. But yeah, I don't know if that's answering your question or not. There's
100%.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of adversity. Something that is inevitable when you're not an entrepreneur at any level is you got to be willing when you're doing something that is truly in your heart. Which when it was the widow child that they had eye cancer, and you're yeah, I'm going to help you out, and then we'll do proceeds for that first shirt, and then all of a sudden the second shirt works, and you see another family helped out. There was no doubt in your heart. I don't want to speak for you, but you knew you had to be feeling so good through that. So when adversity hit you, I don't want to say it was just bouncing off of you, but you were plunging forward, and then you hire someone, and then all of a sudden, what do we need for the next person? Now we need people that are going to be stamping T-shirts. We need people who are going to be shipping. We need a designer consistently. Let's utilize the community. So you were because you were doing it and it was so on purpose. Would you say that that's a massive reason why it worked?
Probably. I was sold out to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't we'll see if this works.
Yeah.
It was I'm in.
You didn't have one foot on land, one foot on water. You jumped in the water, and so we're going to figure out how to make it
like
work.
you talk about building a parachute on your way down.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the exact same thing. So I just felt, to this day, I still feel called. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I did an interview earlier this week, and I said, this is my retirement plan. This is my retirement plan. That's something I still I still need to work out. I gotta get back into like thinking about my future in terms of that end of things. But if I do this until I'm dead, that's great.
You're building your empire.
Yeah. People say empire. I don't like that term.
I know, but it's. I'm just saying, like, let's call it legacy for your family.
I can go
example.
With that. Yeah,
you're giving an example to your two girls, right?
Yeah. And that's a funny thing too. That work-life balance, like, that's tough because I don't.
That was my next question in here too.
Oh, was it really? I wasn't sneaking ahead. I promise.
No. So you have a beautiful family. We talked about Chrissy. You have two beautiful daughters. You spend quality time with them. At least I know you're doing as much as you can with them when you can. But I know there's no perfect solution for work-life balance. But to all our listeners that have a family, and they're really, maybe they're working multiple jobs, they're doing the entrepreneurship thing on the side at first. What is your mindset for a balanced life? How can you help us learn through your... Right.
When I figure it out, like, have me back on and I'll tell you.
I know I asked you that question in the past, and it wasn't an easy one, so sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's...
I think it's an important topic to help us get through it. Yeah.
It's tough, and it's, my two daughters are, they're teenagers now, and as your kids get older, they start to develop their own relationships with people, and they no longer like look to you as like their the be all end all.
Yeah, 100% influence isn't from mom and dad.
Totally. And there's I guess if I'm being real, there's things over the past 7 or 8 years I wish I had done differently. I wish I'd emphasized different things, and just in terms of work-life balance, I think it's so important to remember, when it's all said and done, who's going to be there? Who's going to be there? And it's your family.
Your why for why you're doing it, too, is, of course, the families are helping, but guess what? At the end of the day, you have your own family you're helping.
Yeah, for sure. And my wife is awesome. Part of the thing, with, doing this full-time, as opposed to what I used to do, I make a lot less money, which is fine. Like, I'm not in it for money. I'm not, if I can pay my mortgage, if I can keep my family fed, like, that's fine. But as a result, like, my wife has picked up more hours. Like, she was a stay-at-home mom for years, and this all kind of dovetails together with my kids getting older and being a little bit more able to take care of themselves and stuff.
Sure.
But, that's part of the thing. And so as my wife is working more, I have to make sure that I'm helping out more around the house and stuff like that, because we're a team, And I'm not saying, somebody's going to hear this and think I'm saying that, like, a woman's place is in the house. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah.
But it's just that,
everyone, it's like sports analogy, right? Everyone has a different role in the team, but sometimes you're called into a different thing. So whether that's take care of the house today, or take your daughter to a practice or a play or whatever's going on at school, just be there. Take them out for dinner. It doesn't always have to be this big tight event that's on the calendar. It's simply being there, support system, and it's not especially I'll speak from an entrepreneur, like your schedule is just different all the time, right? It's pretty crazy.
That's the tough part when you talk about work-life balance. Like, it's not a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, you can't just plan out the whole year.
But you do have to learn that balance, and you do have to learn to compartmentalize certain things. Like, all right, I know that this, whatever it is, needs to be addressed, but my daughter is only ever going to be in this moment right now, ever. I have to address this moment. I have to be in this moment with my kids or with my wife, And, it's something that it's, for me, honestly, is a work in progress. And I feel like I've gotten a lot better at it, but there were times when, like, I did not spend enough time doing the things that I should be doing. I mean, people see my Twitter feed and they think that, oh, this guy is perfect, and this guy is like, he's the best husband and the best dad, and like
work in progress, always.
Man,
right?
I am.
Get better each and every day. Be the best version of ourselves.
So
I would summarize that. So if you were to give like one message of clarity about work-life balance, it's be present.
Yes.
And with the ones you love the most, right? So, and that's something even me, like, you know,
we both brought this up at the same time. Yeah, it's like
this thing's been going off, and I had my daughter yesterday. You know, after school, I picked her up, and thing was put away. You know,
you have
check
to.
it. She goes to bed at night, and then I can work from 8 until I pass out. Basically, that's my time for the company. But on a day when I have my daughter, that's it. You know,
you have to. And
otherwise, I don't want to be looking back 20 years later. God willing that I'm able to look back on that 20 years in and go, oh, man, I missed this, I missed this, I missed that. And and plus it's the little things that aren't, like I said, those big events. It's the little things that our kids pick up on, especially at a young age. Behavior aspects of you know, you see a family sitting at a restaurant and there's 4 people there and there's 4 people on their phones, you know, and if it's children or 2 of them, maybe they're 10 and 12 years old, without the relationship. I know this is a tangent, but point is, be present. Be present with your family.
Absolutely. And that's something I've gotten a lot better at over the past few years. Is coming home, we have a little folder that hangs on our one door. I put my phone in the folder, and I'll come back to it later, you know. Or if I hear it buzz, I'll go check and see what it is because it's something important. Because I've managed to like curate my notifications on my phone well enough so that like
you prioritize differently too.
Yeah.
So it's be present and prioritize. Couple more questions. I know we're tight on time. We got to get rolling. 2 things. I think this is interesting. I don't know that I asked it last time, so I want to get this out. What has been your greatest moment since starting 26 Shirts? It can be anything.
There's 2 different minds that I have with 26 Shirts.
Yeah.
One is first and foremost is helping the families, doing everything I can to be a support structure there. That's tough. It's tough because there's not every story has a happy ending. You know, there's certain families that we've helped that there's been this terrible. It just didn't end well. You know, whether somebody passed away or I guess that's it. Somebody passes away and you're. For me, I'm putting this effort and thought and prayer and everything into this, specific child, for example, and then it ends with sad ending, and so that sucks. Obviously, it's not like I'm not the parent that's dealing with that, but it's tough, and I always say that at the middle of this is a lot of heartache. And for a few years, I realized unintentionally that I was putting this wall up, and I was treating it a lot more business-like with these families.
And so you feel you were doing that to prevent yourself maybe from hurt unintentionally?
It was a subconscious self-defense mechanism. And then I realized about a year and a half or whatever it was ago that I have to this is what I built. This is my business. I have to be raw and for my own spiritual like growth and sanity and just whatever, like I've got to just be real and like allow myself on that roller coaster with these families and just be present with them as well too, And so
I think one of your greatest assets, Del, and one of the reasons that I love getting together, hanging out, not only talking bills and business, but you're a real dude. People know when they're working with you, and whether it's a charity event or any event, you can be real with them. You understand business and how it works. You're highly successful, raised over $665,000 collectively with everyone in the movement. I know you wanted me to throw that part in there too. But so you understand how to run a sound business, but you're very real. And I can tell that interaction with your team is strong because they know that you're at the core a great dude, good family man. But you're also not, like we said earlier, every day you're just chiseling away. You're looking to get better, right? You're doing it for the right reasons, for the greater good.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying.
So I would say one of your greatest assets is being real.
Well, thank you. I try to. I mean, like, there's so much fake in this world. You know, like there's so much fake in this world. Like, I don't need to add to that. You know what I mean? If this is who I am, if you like me, awesome. If you don't, that's fine. Just mute me or block me on Twitter. I don't care, whatever. Yeah. But
you're gonna move forward no matter what.
But to get to finish that thought though about the greatest thing with 26 Shirts, the one mindset is helping these families, being a part of their story in a very, very, very small way, being able to maybe give them a little bit of relief, even for a few moments. You know what I mean? Just that they feel that love from the community. If I can help that's awesome. The other mindset is the creative process. And it is so much fun for me. I've always been a t-shirt hawk. It is so much fun for me to come up with these designs, or to work with the artists who have come up with the designs, or to collaborate on stuff. I mean, that is like such a high for me. Like I've gotten emails from artists before where like I literally just started like laughing and clapping in front of a laptop because I was so excited that it came out so great. And working with Josh every day, he's our creative director, is just such a thrill. Like he and I have like this, almost like this unspoken thing now.
Synergy?
Yeah, where I can like, well, I say unspoken, and then I'm about to say, and then I can say something to him, but like he knows what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he has his own awesome designs that he comes up with just himself. So I really enjoy that creative process, to the point where sometimes I feel guilty, like I'm getting so much enjoyment out of that. But then I feel like that's kind of the reward for having to, the heartache sometimes that you know what I mean, just or living through these stories with these family. It's a good yin and yang, I think. So my favorite moment is giving the money to the families, helping the families, being an encouragement to the families. But my other favorite moment is the design process,
cool
coming
design
up with the shirts.
Definitely need to throw you guys some love. I mean, I own some 26Shirts merch, and the T-shirts are super soft and like just comfortable to wear, right? And the designs, like you said, are super cool. My favorite one is still the Orchard Park, Jurassic Park, because I'm a huge Jurassic Park junkie.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When I saw that, I was probably doing the same thing, like at the laptop, just like, I can't believe this is a real design right now.
Yeah.
Orchard Park with the buffalo replacing the T-Rex.
Yeah,
Super cool.
that was actually suggested to us by somebody in the Philly Bills backers club, years ago.
Yeah,
he suggested it.
You're thinking, maybe we'll consider it, and then all of a sudden it's a Hall of Fame design now.
Yep, we offer it all the time. Yep.
One more thing, if you have 2 more minutes.
Sure, of course.
If you can give one message to our audience, leaving them inspired to be brave and bold in pursuit of their dreams, what would it be?
Okay. Stop caring what other people think.
Yes.
If you feel called to do something, just do it. Do it responsibly. Like, just don't. Maybe don't jump out of the plane and build the parachute. Maybe build the parachute first, or make sure that there's a
or read the manual. Maybe
read the manual at least, right? But like, holy cow! Like I was saying before, like we get one life. Don't spend it living somebody else's dream. If somebody else is telling you you have to do this, you have to do this. If you don't feel that in your heart, then you need to fact check them and make sure that what the advice that they're giving you, find out what's causing them to give you that advice, and then also know yourself. And know your own strengths. And so as I'm pursuing this dream, dude, I suck at so many things. Like I people like, with this business, like you're saying, like good at business. Dude, I suck at business. I know that. But I am not shy about reaching out to people and asking for advice. You have to check your pride at the door if you want to be a successful entrepreneur or successful anything. Dad, father, or the same difference. Husband, employee, citizen, human. You have to check your pride at the door if you want to be successful. You have to stop worrying what other people think about you. Stop listening to what other people tell you have to do, to an extent. Obviously,
Right.
I'm not just saying this like that makes sense. I hope to most people listening, like you got to live your own dreams. You know what I mean? And don't be shy. Don't be afraid to ask for help. But just remember, like years go by, and life is like somebody once told me, life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes, and. That is so. It is kind of weird. It
is weird, but once a piece is ripped, you can't go back. You can't.
It's
replay
true.
A day,
and it goes faster. Like you can, as you're getting older, years go by faster. So,
it does. I met with Kate Glacier. We went to Buff State together 11 years ago, and it's like that freaks me out.
Yeah, dude, I graduated. Yeah, you're not kidding. Like I graduated from college 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it took me 11 years to get my 4-year degree, but I got it. But
let's hope that people aren't good with math in the audience.
But
find out why you want to do something.
What your
purpose is, and then build it.
Yeah, right? And you know what? Keep pursuing your dream no matter what. And I think I have this as my pinned tweet right now on my Twitter feed. But spend your whole life trying to accomplish your dream. And you know what? You might die and never accomplish your dream. It could happen, and it's not always a fairy tale ending. But you know what? Go down swinging. Like if that's what you want to do, if you believe you have the opportunities or the ability to do it, then freaking go get it. Seriously, like just
that's amazing.
And obviously, some people are gonna hear this like, well, I can't do that because I made mistakes in the past and now I'm accountable for those mistakes. Okay, that's fine. Figure out some way that you can take where you are right now and at the very least sprinkle elements of that goal or that dream into your life. And you don't know what doors are going to open. Dude, I was a computer programmer for 14 and a half years.
Yeah.
Now, it's, that I'm doing this, I always joke that I've burned the ships. Like, I have not, like, read anything about web development or programming at all intentionally for the past 4+ years now that I've been doing this because I don't, I was good at that.
Yeah.
But that's not what I want to do. And if I always have that backup plan for me, this is how I work, then I'm always going to have in the back of my mind, well, I can just go back to programming.
Yeah.
No, this is it.
That's
I'm sold out.
1 foot on land, 1 foot in the water.
Totally, exactly like you said.
You're in, like, you'll figure out how to swim. You'll figure out, how to call on a couple ships and help out because you're utilizing, in a good way, your community, right? And you're in what you and I both know is we feel the best community in the country.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I haven't been to too many other cultures around the world to speak to it, but I'll tell you, Buffalo's a special place. Yep. What you're doing in Buffalo is a special thing. The Buffalo love is strong. 26Shirts is there's so many other questions we didn't get to, I know, because of time here, but I'm excited to see where it's going to go. We can always do another one, right? Because look at the last handful of years where you're at. I can't imagine what the next handful is going to look like. We want to follow you on social. We want to check out 26Shirts online. People are going to love purchasing, knowing it's going to a great cause, and getting really cool Buffalo-themed merchandise. And real quick, there's 2 other cities, Pittsburgh and Chicago as well. So if you're listening in Pittsburgh or Chicago and potentially other cities coming down the pipe, but check out 26shirts.com, and then where can we find you on social?
Me personally, I'm at Del Reid, DELREID on Twitter. I have a Facebook page and other things, but it all goes down on Twitter. Just find me there.
And it's at 26Shirts for Twitter and Instagram as well.
And Facebook and anything else. If we're there, it's just 26Shirts.
Cheers, Del Reid, right here, man. Thank you for everything you're doing. I'm so inspired by hanging out with people like Del. And just remembering why I'm doing this, and it's for people like yourself. If you're listening to this right now, I'm doing it for you. Hey guys, this is Mike, and I wanted to personally thank you for tuning in, for being part of my journey. Together we can make a positive impact in the world. I encourage you to take any of the stories or insights discussed on my show and apply it to yourself personally. I love this quote that Del shared with me. It's by Charles Dickens. No one is useless in this world who lightens the burdens of another. Such a simple yet strong message. Remember, lightening the burden for someone can be a simple act. It comes naturally from the heart. It feels so good helping someone and truly expecting nothing in return. If you're listening to this right now and have an idea, a thought on how you can make a positive impact, maybe it is a business idea similar to 26Shirts or a burning idea in your heart where you can do what you absolutely love to do, I urge you to research it, see what it takes, create a plan, and go for it. Be yourself because everyone else is taken. This world is a better place when you're doing what you're called to do. If you need clarity on that, take a few minutes and write it out. Be mindful about what you want. Your heart, your mind, and your spirit will go to work on that for you. Again, thank you for tuning in and spreading love. You can check out more show notes and information at mikeduppodcast.com, MIKED, uppodcast.com, powered by Social Chameleon. You know what to do. Be great and be grateful.